From downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
A wild scene caught on camera. Two passengers brawling with a DDOT bus driver. The fight has led to calls for legislation to protect bus drivers from being attacked. Thanks for being with us. I'm Kimberly Gill.
I'm Devin Skillian. Sean Lay live with us now with more on what happened that led to punches being thrown here. Sean.
Outside the bus, you're right, a big brawl here. Inside the bus, we are told two passengers were spitting on the bus driver while he's behind the wheel. This spilled out onto the street and a brawl ensues, caught on camera. Take a look.
They jumping this man.
In Michigan, it may soon be a 5-year felony to do this. Put your hands on a bus driver. This is video from Monday along Jefferson Avenue, an ugly incident where DDOT drivers tell us a man and a woman are outside of the bus, and in this fight is the bus driver being pinned up against his bus. You can hear that driver telling the two to stop, demanding they give his glasses back to him and to let him go. All of this went down outside of DDOT bus 1503, and at the end it looks like the bus passenger involved in the fight is exhausted. The driver getting back onto his bus says why he was struggling with those two passengers.
You spit in my face.
Detroit Transit Police are investigating. Ricky Brown is the chief of the Transit Police.
We feel that one assault is one assault too many, so we're going to heavily investigate this and pursue it as far as we can for prosecution.
In the past, bus drivers have refused to come to work until changes in safety for them were made. Brown says incidents targeting drivers plummeted after those changes for drivers were put in.
City and DDOT has invested heavily in driver safety by creating a safe barrier for the drivers by installing petitions and things of that nature. That's step one. Step two, now Transit Police has the authority to actually investigate, pull video, and submit warrants to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office.
Drivers are now trained during any incident to stay behind their partition and call for police. Here, the driver got out from behind the wheel and his protective partition, taking issue with being spit on by passengers.
It's hard to watch. Any assault, again, is hard to watch.
Latest right now tonight, no arrest, no charges yet, but you heard the transit chief say they are pursuing this case as an investigation and will pursue charges. In the meantime, Devin and Kimberly were told the driver was not badly injured. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4, back to you.
Just wild what he went through. All right, Sean. All right, new here at 11. A 15-year-old boy is in the hospital after a shooting at a Detroit park. This happened at Skinner Playfield, which is on Kelly Road on the city's east side. Police say someone fired shots hitting the teen. At last check, he is in stable condition tonight. The massive manhunt still on at this hour in the state of Maine. Police searching for the suspect in that horrific mass shooting that happened last night in the state's second largest city, Lewiston.
At least 18 people are dead. 13 others are wounded. Chris Pallone is in Lewiston with an update on the deadliest mass shooting in the U.S. this year.
As night fell on Lewiston, Maine, agents executed search warrants and searched properties believed to be connected to suspected gunman Robert Card. Tens of thousands remain under shelter-in-place orders with a mass murderer potentially on the loose.
Please stay at home and be safe.
Police say Card walked into a Lewiston bowling alley and opened fire Wednesday night, then drove to a bar and continued his attack, leaving at least 18 dead and 13 more injured. Among those shot at the bowling alley, Trisha Aslin. Her mom says she was killed while trying to call 911.
The world lost a great girl, and I lost a precious daughter.
Card was in the Army Reserve. Officials tell NBC News he threatened a military base and was sent by his own commanders to a mental health care facility for treatment in July, which raises questions of how he was able to have a gun in the first place. Sources say the rifle used in the attack was bought legally.
If in fact the suspect was hospitalized for 2 weeks for mental illness, that should have triggered the yellow flag law.
The shock of such a horrific massacre with nearly as many homicides in a single night as this state typically sees in an entire year has left the community reeling.
I've never locked my door once at night. I leave them wide open.
And that nightmare will continue until a suspect is in custody. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Lewiston, Maine.
All right, Chris, thank you. And as the search for Robert Card continues, investigators are also trying to answer the question as to why this happened. Tonight, they're looking at a note found at Card's home and examining the possibility of a nearby bar being targeted because a female acquaintance used to be a patron there.
New at 11, we are less than a week away from learning more about the investigation of the Oxford school shooting. School officials say the third-party report is going to be released on Monday of next week. Guidepost Solutions will release its findings into the November 2021 deadly shooting. A question and answer session on the report is going to be held. That'll be coming up next Thursday, November 2nd.
Children are suffering and parents need to pay up. That's the word from the Macomb County prosecutor tonight. As Mara McDonald shows us from Sterling Heights, his numbers show in the county alone, there's $35 million of child support that's owed.
The math on this is just mind-boggling. And no, Macomb is not an outlier, but the prosecutor's office is trying something new to get these children the support they deserve.
You know, people have a legal obligation under the court and under the law, but do they actually care?
In too many cases, the answer is no. Failure to pay court-ordered child support is a national problem. According to the federal government, there's an epidemic of non-payment. The latest numbers out of Health and Human Services says there's more than $100 billion, that's with a B, that hasn't been paid. Lucido has run the numbers in Macomb. It's equally appalling.
7,500 files in this county that are $5,000 or more. At 5,000 times 7,500 is 38 million. Do the math. The question I have is, I know that some of these arrearages are 15, 20, 25,000. We are close to $100 million in arrearages.
If you owe more than $5,000 in back child support, it's a felony, and there's a warrant for your arrest. In an attempt to clear those warrants, the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office is trying something new. 4 days this November where you can come in with no legal penalty to pay up or commit to a plan to pay up. You don't need an appointment.
Too many people think about themselves instead of the children that they had as a result of, their relationships. Don't get involved in the relationship and have a baby if you're not going to take care of it.
If you want more information on this, we've got it up on clickondetroit.com as far as what the dates are. All you'd need to bring in an ID and a pay stub. We're in Sterling Heights. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara, now to an update on a case we have been following since July. The man accused of kidnapping and killing 2-year-old Winter Cole Smith after attacking her mother in Lansing is not going to face the death penalty. The U.S. Attorney made that announcement today. Rashad Malik Trice is currently facing charges of kidnapping a minor and kidnapping resulting in death. He pleaded not guilty in August. Trice also facing state charges, though, in Ingham, Wayne, and Macomb counties.
A 2-year-old boy is dead after shooting himself. This happened in Lansing. Investigators say the toddler got a hold of the unsecured gun while alone in a car at a Sunoco gas station. Police arrested a 44-year-old man seen running away from the scene. No word how he's connected to the child or what charges he might face. But this is once again a reminder that every gun needs a lock or should be properly secured in a safe.
Back to the story we were bringing you at this time last night. With a tentative deal with Ford done, the UAW continues negotiations with General Motors and Stellantis. Of course, last night, Union President Shawn Fain announced Ford has a tentative agreement with the union. Ford's UAW National Council will be in town on Sunday. They will decide whether to forward the tentative deal to the rank and file for a ratification vote. If the contract goes forward, local and regional informational meetings would start Tuesday of next week. Results from that vote would not be expected until sometime in November. Of course, remember, we're out of October in the middle of next week. Meantime, it will take Ford plants a few weeks to get back into full production mode as the whole system has to reboot after the strike.
Text messages at the center of Mel Tucker's sexual harassment case will remain under a court order for now. Accuser Brenda Tracy recently filed suit regarding a series of text messages between herself and a longtime friend. Those text messages were made public by Tucker's attorneys. They cited the texts as newly discovered evidence of the nature of the relationship between Tucker and Tracy. Today, an Ingham County judge ruled the messages must not be disseminated further because they could possibly taint a jury pool. Tucker's team has agreed not to release information from the phone pertaining to personal health data, the personal information of sexual abuse survivors, or protected trade secrets. The trial is set for next March. Michigan Senate passing a new 100% clean energy package.
Governor Whitmer says it is going to lower costs, create jobs, and protect our air, water, and health. It will also help the state face climate change, she believes, making Michigan a national leader on that front. Democrats originally introduced measures aiming to institute a clean energy mandate by 2035, but after today's vote, that deadline was pushed to 2040.